The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you got to do, make it.
It is a Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 912. Tuesdays, we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on all the social medias here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we're excited to be back in the studio this week and have a guest in the studio before I have to go gallivanting again next week. It just changed. We had a guest next week. I have to go reschedule her. I just realized. But we have with us, first of all, on the line, my trusty compatriot on the podcast, the Rizz is with us.
I haven't been on in a while.
Hey,
You
Ryse.
have not
I
been
know
on.
Doing this
you.
alone.
What? Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well,
you know,
not
I've been
alone.
managing. I've been
You've
just
had
getting
stuff. You have
whoever, you know, but we got you
Feels
on.
weird.
It feels weird being on the show.
I haven't been on the show in like 2 months.
No,
so.
no.
Sorg, what the hell?
I don't
That's
know.
your buddy.
We got a new voice here. If you're with us, have not shown her yet. Meighan Nelson is with us.
Oh, there I am on the screen.
Voice
Hi.
of Ryse Wrestling, and just I don't know, just pops up all over the wrestling world. In my experience.
Well, thank you.
You don't know how many times, we're going to get into it, but how many times I'm like in the back directing a show, and then I'm like, oh, Megan's here.
That was only
I've-
been for
I've
NWA
done
Exodus.
that.
That's my only other promotion I've actually ever worked for.
Yes, but you've been in a crowd a lot, though, too, right? Like, so.
In Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm saying I'm directing. I
Yeah.
see a shot of the crowd, and there you are.
Oh, at Big League Wrestling, please delete all footage of me in the crowd at that show. I had a good time. I feel like I said offensive things to Rex Brody. Rex, I apologize, but you did one amazing job at that ladder match. You did not need me cheering you on about body parts.
Listen, listen. If you're yelling drunken expletives in an Erie show, you fit right in.
There were no expletives.
Okay.
It was about PG-13 though. But
Okay. Oh, that's still better than most Erie. So they get a little raw out there.
Oh, I know. What a crowd, man.
Yes.
That's
It's not like, you know, we always talk about the RWA crowds really kind of like, you know, Tony Kincaid calls it the last Wild West of,
I love
Pittsburgh
Tony,
wrestling. But it's like, it's a whole different, like, I mean, I always go back to when Wardlow was with the company and Wardlow's mom and the drunken luchadors in the crowd were going at it, like yelling across an entire section at each other. Like that's how hard they go in Erie, and it's fantastic. It's one of the biggest shows up there. They draw 400 to like 800 people.
and the after party is just as fun.
Oh my god, I haven't done the after party for a while because I don't get a hotel anymore. So
We'll have to drive you home, but yeah,
that's right. We need to arrange a transport and a bus up with all the equipment, and then we'll
we
have
could
the
do
after
it.
party.
I think we
You
could
just need a
definitely do
designated
it.
driver, Sorg.
Yeah.
A designated driver. We need yes, we do.
Let's find a trainee or an intern. Get an intern. There's some colleges around here.
There
They
you
can-
go. Actually, we're working on. We might have some interns. I just got approval for a
Do they
couple.
have a driver's
interns coming
license?
on. Well, the ones living in Tennessee, so they're not going to be much help.
Let's do it. But I did attend an RWA show a few months ago. It was such a great show, great experience.
A different experience,
Les
right?
Newton, yeah. Actually, I was in a Panera Bread in Monroeville, and I see a banner with like John McChesney and Julia Lynn on it for RWA, and I'm like, man, they're making some things happen.
I love it. I love
They
it.
make
Same.
those banners make their rounds around
Oh, I
the
know.
Monroeville area. Like I go in the sheets and it's right there.
Monroeville, man, it's a competitive wrestling. I feel.
Yeah,
Min-
it's a cross section,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's so wild because Monroeville, like, we're getting so local. I'm sorry for like Tina in Seattle that's listening right
Everybody
now.
just get a map.
Just get a map and just throw a thing, and you know, BC just explain it to them in the chat room, please. So
BC Steel?
Yeah, BC Steel's out
Hey.
there. But you know, it's so interesting because like old IWC before I got into it, like the big shows were in Monroeville, right in Rizz's
Yeah.
backyard over there.
The first event I went to.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, and then now it's like this cross section of it's like, you know, everybody up 28, everybody down into like that West Newton area.
It's our own
you know?
territories.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so funny. The Penguins used to practice in Monroeville. I mean, there's so much like sports history in that area, and it's exciting to see now the renovations that are going on in Monroeville on that highway. So I don't know, maybe there could be a show in Monroeville someday.
Sooner or later.
Maybe sooner.
Sooner or later. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen
Let's buy
here?
a promotion
You
and bring it to Monroeville. Let's go.
Yeah.
I've been tempted. We have pontificated about a Wrestling Mayhem Show championship in the last month. So, hey, if Deadlock can do it, I think we can do a Wrestling Mayhem promotion.
I like it. I like the idea of just
I'm
a belt.
down.
Just the belt, just the
It's
internet
like
belt.
a TV, like an internet belt. Yeah.
There's actually our friend Jesse Long, Team Hammerfist down in Florida. They do have an internet championship, and I think it actually made selections during Mayhem Mania, so it has a bit of a history. I think, oh God, who's the champion? It's gonna. I think it's Ron Bass's son, Ron Bass Jr. or something like that.
Ron
is a champion.
Mathis' son. I'm like,
no,
he's a kid?
Wouldn't that be wild?
He would have had to have conceived when he was 14. But it is West Virginia, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. But anyways, let's get into the wrestling talk. We're going to get to know Meighan here in a couple of segments. I think you already got the speed round of it, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, that.
So welcome to it. So let's get into the chatter. First, we need to pick up on I guess what was developing during the show last week, and we were like, Ethan Page is in NXT, claims he is unsigned. I believe, is he officially on Battleground? They're probably going to settle that tonight on the show if they haven't already as of this recording.
Damn it, you know what you just did?
I jinxed it.
You did it on WCW. Everyone's going to stop watching this, and they're going to go on friggin' NXT and see what Ethan Page is going to do.
No, they watch them on both TVs during the show, so then they let us know what's happening, because a lot of times the chat room fills us in on what's happening over there. Like, that's how we found out about Jordan Grace, Ethan Page during the
We don't want to do a
butts
butts and seats. So.
No, butts and seats. No. But of course, this is going like, we don't know what's going to happen with them with RWA. Yeah. And Ethan Page has multiple bookings across the country over the next month or so. He was doing a lot of great stuff. But man, what a get for them between that and the Jordan Grace thing. Like, this Battleground became a, NXT shows are just like, NXT's happened to, like, I think people need to come over and watch this with me in the studio this Sunday.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I travel a lot, so I like to watch. If I'm, going out to eat for work, I just like to watch NXT on Tuesdays, and I like to watch AEW on Wednesdays. And NXT is kind of the one WWE program that I'm probably the most knowledgeable about. Because the other ones, I'm like, I feel bad because I should be paying attention to everything wrestling, but there's a lot of TV on.
See, I'm I'm AEW, WWE, and then it's like the NXT is kind of, the NXT and ROH has fallen off for me after Mania for some reason, just time wise, because I'm coming off like the worst of my travel season for the year.
I'm still worn out from Mania.
I know, right? It was felt like yesterday. that was. No, that was not the last time I saw you, but no, actually, it might have been the last time I saw you. Anyways,
you saw me at Exodus.
That's right. That was since
And then the time before that.
We'll get to that. But anyways,
No.
so like, I want to kind of catch up with NXT as well and Ring of Honor and things like that, because I know they're doing great things down there that are flying under a lot of people's radars. Maybe less so NXT these days. This is Jordan Grace is I see on or has been on the NXT show tonight against Stevie Turner. I'm not familiar with her. And of course, there's a lot of new faces because, of course, they've had a lot of turnover with the recent draft coming up. They're bringing down a lot of people like Mia Yim and Gallows and Anderson have been a part of it. So I'm loving kind of like that in and out. It makes things a little more interesting as we're getting used to the new faces and everything. So I'm really curious to see how that kind of shapes up here. It's definitely got the interest. You want to see what the hell they're going to do in Battleground with the TNA Women's Champion
They changed it,
on NXT on USA Network tonight, and then of course on the PLE on Peacock this weekend. So
does that open the door for more?
I think it certainly has. I mean,
like I know. I think the day after we saw like Woods and Xavier Woods and Joe Hendry make plans.
Oh, I didn't see the Hendry ones. I saw Woods saying I kind of like the look of those tag championships though. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he made a list of demands. Mm-hmm. He said the first thing is he's going out. He and Kofi are going to go after the tag titles, and then the second one was he's going to make a music video with Joe Hendry.
Fantastic.
And Joe Henry responded to that.
Of course.
Positive.
And I love that they're open to be able to play. and then if they get like 1 million likes or something on that, and enough people hit the WWE account, like somebody's gonna be like, hey, we should probably look at this, like that can be. I mean, that's a good meter, right? To kind of see what's going on there with things.
It almost reminds me of like in the 90s, you had Smoky Mountain Wrestling kind of invade WWF. And at that time, you just had like the Heavenly Bodies and some people. And but like and I'm not knocking that work rate of Smoky Mountain, but here you have Ethan Page, who could really be a champion anywhere. Jordan Grace, who could be a champion anywhere, show up. So this is not like
who is the champion somewhere.
This is not like the third contender tag team showing up on Monday Night Raw. I mean, these are people that could be showing up on SmackDown or Raw as major players. So it's a big deal, I think, and I don't know if people are making a big enough deal about it.
Absolutely, and
got
again,
me invested.
Again, I mentioned the talent coming down. Shayna Baszler is on this match against who was it that you said? Lola Vice, Tina Singh in the chat room. Gallows and Anderson are going for the tag belts. No, is it the tag belts? Yeah, the tag championships with Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Actually, I can give you a visual on this.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, Jordan Grace and Roxy. And of course, you have not officially announced the Ethan Page situation on here yet. But once again, that is probably something for tonight's show to get. I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point. So we'll kind of see how that kind of pans out here. And I'm sure we'll have news on it by the end of the show. Yeah. Because we usually
now we saw people go to NXT. Are we going to see people going from NXT to TNA?
And
the doorway's open.
That's the question.
The door is now busted open.
It's not a door; it's a forbidden portal, or what did they call it? Something portal. God, what did Jordan Grace call it? The perilous portal, or something like that.
Are they not supposed to call it a door anymore?
Well, forbidden door is technically copywritten for a pay-per-view, so nobody else can use it. That isn't involved in the pay-per-view. So CMLL and New Japan can probably use it, but nobody else, because it's an actual thing now.
So what's weird is, have you ever had a champion with WWE, WWF ever show up in another promotion? And I think the last time that might have happened might have been when WCW went under. That last ever show.
Last ever show. Also, didn't Eddie Guerrero show up at Indies with the Intercontinental belt one time?
Oh, that's
cool. Something like that.
He wrestled CM Punk in Pittsburgh.
Look at you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, there's precedent for that, I guess. So I don't know. It depends on how this relationship goes. There was a lot of discussion. Somebody was telling me about how much TNA has cleaned house on a lot of the creative and back end stuff. So I don't know if that has anything to do with all of this. Somebody in there that's more friendly to WWE, that has that relationship open. Obviously, this started with Jordan Grace being a part of the Royal Rumble show. We've had Mickie James in the past. Actually, Mickie James is probably the door for this, right? Yeah. Is that relationship, because she has been, I think she's out of TNA now, or is she back in? I can't remember. I haven't been watching for that for like 6 months. So
that she retired like maybe 3 times.
Maybe. Who knows?
She's just gonna keep coming back like Trish.
Oh, that's right. She's involved in that. There's that. Have you seen the stage show she's involved in? I can't remember the name of it. I've been seeing ads.
Oh, yeah.
It's going up and down the East Coast, it looks like. She's involved. A couple other major wrestlers involved in it. It's a theatrical performance, but it's a wrestling show.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. So it's like a rock and wrestling kind of.
It's called The Last Match.
She sings.
Is it The Last Match?
The Last Match is what it's called. And she's working with the Drama King.
Oh, Matthew Ringwald, right?
Yes. I was nowhere near going to say that.
I always mess up that name, so I hope I got it right. Pro Wrestling Experience.
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald of the professional
Ginger
wrestling. So this is...
Aid in English. Let's just say that.
So I believe this is it. The Last Match, a pro wrestling rock experience is going around here. This is the look for. Oh, this is from back in May 5th, and I don't know what town this was in. But
New York?
in New York. I'm going to check out the page here. Hopefully they have a video. But yeah, I had an ad, and of course I get ads for everything since I travel too damn much. So I get ads for things that are like just kind of all over the place. So yeah, it's like a rock and roll thing, kind of a WoW meets theatrical musical kind of situation. So and it's I know they were having it here's Columbia, South Carolina.
This makes so much sense.
Oh, absolutely. So I mean that explains why she's not maybe involved in anything big right now. So yeah, Gene Snitsky's a part of this. Nunzio. Like this is crazy. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, of course.
HOG Arena was carrying it. So actually here's the tour right here. So it is hitting. Well, it's telling me the theaters and not the town, so that's not helpful. So Center Stage in Atlanta is going to do. That was one of the big ones. 2,300.
Oh, Center Stage. Wow.
2,300 Arena.
2,300 Arena.
Yep.
Yeah.
House of Glory. I would say Rochester, New York. I think that was the Temple Arena one. Our Temple.
You have to go to a Masonic temple for wrestling.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yes, I think AEW was the Masonic Temple, if I'm not mistaken. There's been a few Masonic temples that I've seen wrestling.
I heard that they painted the mural. They painted over the mural at AEW. Remember that mural?
In the training area?
No,
or
where they do shows.
Oh.
Is that the Masonic, or it might be another?
Oh
thing?
no, I think that's the one in Akron. I feel.
Is that the one with the bar?
I think so. Like,
Okay,
and
then
it looked like
I got confused.
It looked like a tent thing that was painted and all that kind of
that
stuff.
got
It was a
painted over.
crazy background.
Nuts.
Chikara had a place like that too. Like there was a stage that had like one of those kind of painting situations, right, Riz? You were our Chikara expert.
Yeah, I think that was their actual training center. Like that was where they actually trained.
For Chikara, you mean?
For Chikara. And they actually did shows there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
neat.
Pre and during the pandemic.
Okay.
They did like their King of Trios there once.
Okay.
They did all their big shows there too. Like it was just like it was a pretty decent sized place to work out.
That's
working from what I heard
Nice.
and saw.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Again, we're kind of seeing that I'm sure they'll put the final pieces in place for whatever is happening with Ethan Page. I'm sorry, every indie promotion that probably has to deal with this in the next couple of weeks. So, no official word from RWA on what's happening with Ethan Page or any replacements or anything like that yet. But stay tuned to that social media. And of course, we'll be carrying that show. I think that's the Unleashed show that they're doing next week. That'll be, of course, on Indie Wrestling Network Live on the network and over on YouTube. So you can go see whatever goes down. And considering last time it was Lance Archer and Beastman.
That's unheard. That's crazy.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
I
was.
nearly died multiple times.
Yeah, Riz was on camera during that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Riz is tiny, and they are not.
Beastman was wrestling Lance Archer. He's acting like he was in that ring. No, just kidding.
I mean, you've been to an RWA show. You know where that action goes.
In the crowd.
Yes,
yeah, you're true. Yeah,
out there.
Crowd, the
I'm not going to say
stand.
I'm not going to say the crowd's not safe, but the crowd
brothers.
should be on their toes.
Yeah.
And there's
a lot of people who don't want to be on their toes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They don't want to move.
No, they don't. Well, there's a lot of there's a lot of people in that crowd with like walkers. And I get worried when they clear everybody move, and it was just like this grandma ain't moving. His grandma's gonna get super hentai in her lap, which may not be a bad thing. I don't know. So, but anyways, but thank you to everybody that does support this show. I want to give a shout out. You can go to patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show, or of course you can join us here live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Slight programming note: we will be remote next week. I just got asked 24 hours ago to extend my stay in Michigan, so that means I got to go up earlier, which means we will be doing another remote. But I think we did pretty good last time. Unfortunately, that means I will have to reschedule our guest for next week. So. That's okay because we have her in studio. I'm not gonna reveal who it is yet.
Oh, I think I know.
But I'm curious. You tell me on the break who you think it is.
You made an announcment last week, so for those
I did make an announcement last week. I'm rescinding my announcement, and I'm going to message her right after the show. So I'll be like, hey.
Yeah.
But anyways, updates from the Matt, True Prince Pro, Matt in in the chat room says the giant mural at Tadmore Shrine that AEW runs in Akron was the one that got painted over.
Yeah.
Now it's just a lifeless, all white walled room. Yeah, that makes that so much. I mean, that was part of the character of that, right?
I know. I feel bad for that artist.
Oh, and this was being brought up too about other championships. Taz winning the ECW title on his day off under contract with WWE against Mike Awesome, and then brought it onto Monday Night Raw the next week. So I remember my first wrestling show ever was a WWF house show, the weekend he had the title, but he did not bring it to the house show.
Oh my gosh. Man, I miss those days.
Yep, those were some wild times, especially that.
I miss house shows matter. Like, I miss when house shows used to matter. Like, when you'd open up Pro Wrestling Illustrated and you'd learn that, like, a tag title changed hands. Just
Well, we did have King of the Ring qualifiers on house shows here in the recent month. So, we did do that, you know. So, and they've done, like, I feel like in the recent years there was something where a title got dropped and then won back while they were on a international tour somewhere, maybe. So, like little things like that. Like every once in a while they'll drop that, but like with space, you know, it's like, man, something could happen. Because how many you're like, there's a championship match. You're like, yeah, Seth Rollins is going to drop this title tonight at this Pittsburgh house show or this Johnstown, PA house show or something like that, right?
And just air the match on TV. I think it'd be
There you
freaking
go.
cool.
Yep.
I don't know. They just got to matter. Like, remember when the Steiners, I think they won a belt. They won the championship with the Fed, but then, like, WWF acted like it never happened.
Rockers, I think that happened.
Or was it the Rockers? Okay.
Oh, no, they taped it for main event, but the match was so bad they rescinded it.
Is that what happened?
I think
can't
that
remember.
was one of them, but I think you're right. Steiner's being something like that might have also happened to them. So, but anyways, thank you to our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Of course, we do, I haven't told Megan this, we do stick around and do a little bit of Patreon afterwards, and maybe we ask the tough questions there for the pay.
And we eat pizza.
And we eat pizza live on air, ASMR, pepperoni ASMR.
I don't know what camera to look into.
You're that one right there.
Right
yeah,
here?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I've been
That's the
looking at this
people.
one the whole time.
That's the back of mine.
Is that the back of yours?
It's the back
I've
of
been
mine.
looking at this the whole time. Well, I've been looking at you.
I mean, it's an old big camera. I mean, you know, this is the conversation, and that's the people.
That is so funny.
So this is a new angle I'm trying.
Well, I've been talking to Sorg, everybody.
There you go.
Oh, it's fine.
It's just, it's wherever you want to look.
Now I can look at Rizz.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Our friends at the fan of the show level, Bo Diggity.
Woo. I can't do the voice anymore. I don't know why.
I was gonna say because your balls dropped, Riz. And also, I'm so sorry, Team Hammerface.
No,
and
you're not.
Our friends, the Tupac family, our friends at the Poppy Club level, Dave Profbot, Ponder Spouse, the Rooster Really Affair at roosterreallyaffair.com, and Rats in a Trench Coat, Tony Kincaid. At the Beats Club level, Doc Remedy, The Riz, and Lance Fisher, and at the manager level, Bradley. You guys can support the show too, and I'll say your name real weird at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you, everybody. You do keep the servers running so we can continue to put the show out. Thank you, everybody. So from there, WWE doing crazy stuff. The most interesting thing on Raw is the Dominic and Liv Morgan non-relationship situation. I'm getting a look from Megan that I got to get her up to speed on this one.
Well, can I mention something? So I drive a lot for work. So
Yes.
I listened to Bully Ray and all them talk about the fact that Raw ended right before the kiss happened.
Yes.
So the big question is who kissed who. So if you can keep me up to date and let me know what's going on. I know they've been liking each other's
I
stuff on
just
social media.
know the
who kissed
picture, and I know there's the thing where Liv went and liked every post on Dominic's
Yeah.
Instagram like some crazy lady. Like, I love this. Like, it is God. Okay, between that, and I do have to say, because I watched a Raw between last night and this morning. I watched the segment. Because there's a thing where Gable in the Alpha Academy, he's been just berating them and everything. This thing where
Is that Kurt Angle's son?
no, that's Jason Jordan.
Oh,
That's the other
different.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
he works in the back though. Like, he should be his son, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Okay, that's
because he's
why.
an
Okay.
Olympic guy. He pretty much kind of fits the bill, right? As the next Kurt Angle, and they're finally doing something with him with it, right?
Oh, good.
Like, they had Otis step up to him, and they had an exchange, and my God. The pop was just explosive on this thing for this entire segment. the pacing they are doing with these stories with WWE are so spot on. This should be a dead time. This is typically a dead time, wishy-washy storyline situation, and they are hitting stuff so freaking hard. Jey Uso just came out last night, talked with the crowd, and talked about how he's finally going to be main event Jey Uso that he should have been a year ago, kind of situation. And the crowd just bit everything with him, and he's in the crowd doing this, and it is just astonishing that there's no way this can last, but somehow they're still sticking it through and keeping everything hot. And it's been really, really incredible.
Like between like the Uso stuff, between the Gable stuff, which to me is probably one of the best storylines of the so far in wrestling, period. Just to see his demise and the snowball effect of how the heel Gable is happening, and between what you were talking about with Liv and Dom. Also, I gotta throw in, I keep on mentioning this in the chats and in our feeds and stuff. I'm loving this the Uncle Howdy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a video game nerd, so I like to find this shit in any way possible. So putting it on Instagram, putting it on WhatsApp, putting it on my video game that I'm playing, the WWE 2K.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
That stuff keeps people invested in a long-term story. I know some people are saying that it's getting boring. When is he going to come out? When are they going to come out? No. Let it boil.
Keep that mystery, man.
You're supposed to hate everything that's happening. And I love that last Monday after Raw, that was the first time somebody on WWE TV acknowledged what's happening.
Oh, wait, when was that? During the you said during the Raw talk, right?
Yeah, during the intro to Raw talk, they did that then now forever intro. They did the whole it faded everything, and then when they cut back, Sam Roberts was there, and he's just befuddled. He's just looking confused. I forget what the other person's name was, but it's just that's what I want. I want to be invested in this. And that's how you make me invested. You make me invested in these long-term stories. You don't need to do these quick storylines that we've all been used to. We all don't need the they used to be my friend, now they're my enemy type situation. I mean, that's good for once in a while, but this type of storytelling with however they're doing this, with whatever storyline, is pretty damn good. And we're not even talking about the world champions in both of those, in Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, that is true.
Right, yeah.
The only championships that we've talked about, the only championship that's main that we've talked about thus far is the NXT championship.
Yep.
And that was because
the most important championship in WWE right now, the NXT
something.
championship. Yes. The
And
truly
that's because a free
interpromotional championship. So and hell, we talked about the TNA Women's Championship, Knockouts Championship more.
Man,
champion.
Can you imagine Ethan Page as Intercontinental Champion? I just totally see that being him.
Oh, he'd be a great Intercontinental Champion, wouldn't he?
He is the epitome of that title. He could be one of the greatest. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I loved his tag stuff with Scorpio Sky and everything, but just Ethan Page to me is an Intercontinental champion.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're that workhorse champion. You can see him in the mix with Gunther's guy that's feuding with Sheamus
Kaiser.
right now. Kaiser, you know, and those guys in there, and the Ricochets and things like that. Like I think that would be like, that
Forget the NXT belt, man. Just
that Intercontinental belt's got so much on it right now.
Yeah.
Even the U.S. belt with what Logan Paul's been doing with it in the
I
last
forgot
few
about that
months.
one, yeah.
I know, right? You forget about it. You know,
was
at
Logan
that
Paul
point.
supposed to fight Mike Tyson?
His brother is.
Oh, his
Brother
brother
was
is?
Jake-
Okay.
Yes, and it was supposed to be. Listen, so there's this thing going on in our Slack right now because RWA had to move their July show to that date.
Oh.
And some of the people that work the show were not happy about that. So, which is also the I think the Exodus day for that month.
Yeah, 22nd.
What was this happened in actually this wasn't even a Slack. This is the RWA media.
This was
chat.
the RWA media page.
Yeah, I forgot to put you in there, Rizz. Yeah, so people were kind of threatening to not do the show, and then the show got canceled, and then somebody got blamed for canceling the Netflix fight. So, you know, that's how serious it's been getting lately. But anyways, I don't even know why they canceled it. Did you hear? I did.
Mike Tyson.
Hernia.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, of all the things he's done, you can tell he's old when he gets a
Or
hernia.
ulcer.
Or an ulcer.
an ulcer.
All the crazy stuff he's put his body through. It's an
Jeez.
ulcer that brings him out of the championship fights.
Jeez. Wow. Anyways, so that happened. The stories are really hitting with WWE right now. And that's been really, really impressive. Going into Clash of Castle, which I think is in a week or two, maybe. I can't keep up at this point. We're talking about Money in the Bank already. So like, I think Uso was the one that part of his was I think he was throwing out the Money in the Bank from last year. So and putting his hat into that. So I think that's gonna be fun. That's up in Toronto. Clash of Castle is probably gonna be another humongous international show. We saw, and of course, I mentioned the chat room. Drew McIntyre has been killing it right now. Still talking about CM Punk. There's a video I just shared with the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook group. Group chat. Yeah, that's the right thing. Where he was in the entrance of the new WWE facility, and there's a giant LED wall, and he had a guy put CM Punk's face on it.
Oh.
like making a funny face or something like that. I'm just like, it's just the trolling Drew is so amazing right now, right? He's having so much fun with it everywhere he goes.
What's happening with Becky Lynch? So I heard she's a free agent now.
So there's you know what, man, these contract. So
I love a good contract rumor, though.
there's so many. Becky Lynch is supposed to be expiring here within the next week if it hasn't already. There's several others that were supposed to be, including I think Ricochet is supposed to be out of contract. So now I know somebody had shared maybe I'm going to say maybe Tina in the chat room an old what was it, Ricochet and Will Ospreay. There was having them run it back. I think there was a dance off between the two of them in England that I found on Twitter and said, let's get them back and let's run this back. It should be shared on the Mayhem Show account or my personal. I can't remember what I was on at the time. Punk is also pointing out Punk is really quiet right now. They're saying in the chat room. So
Wait, who's Punk?
CM Punk.
Oh, Punk is
He is being very quiet right now.
Oh, yeah.
He has not been seen for a little bit, which means he's definitely showing up in Scotland.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant there was somebody in our chat whose nickname was Punk.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
who's that?
Yeah, no. The Punk, of course. Week from Saturday is Clash in
Well,
the
he
Castle.
said bad things about Ron Francis, so to hell with him. He can stay home. That's my opinion on CM Punk.
All right.
Remember, he said, and fuck Ron Francis. I'm like, damn, had to bring Ron Francis, into that when we beat the Blackhawks for that Stanley Cup in '92.
He did come to Pittsburgh and watch some games at our arena, didn't he? Or like
he
playoffs
had
or
to.
something
I
the
don't
last
even
couple of years.
remember.
I remember him popping
think
up.
So. Yeah,
Like,
he had nothing else going on. So.
Yeah, I feel like he popped in here like when he was still friends with Cole Cabana, and we saw the two of them in the crowd.
God.
Yeah,
So. Cubs games too at the Pirates, right?
Yeah, I was actually at the playoff game where he was,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I saw that loss.
Because of course. Oh yeah, that time where we randomly ended up in the playoffs in baseball, in the baseballs.
That was
Yeah.
like 11 years ago.
Yeah,
That was
that's it.
way too long ago.
Way too long ago.
I was at that game. It was cold.
Anyways, so a lot going on there. WWE still on all cylinders. We'll talk about AEW here late in the show after the break. But in the meantime, we're going to learn a little bit more about Meighan. But first, give a shout out. Check out our indiewrestling.us. Check out the network. Check out the YouTube page. A lot of free matches going on there. Of course, from our friends at 880 Wrestling, the Thursday night fights on the road for the last month. See what's going on there. See what that banana guy's been up to lately. Yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Banana, excuse me, the
Yes, say his
banana,
name right.
the human Mario Kart object, himself, themself. I don't know how to gender a banana. I'm sorry.
That's
So I'm learning.
I mean,
I'm learning and growing.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say
You know
the
what?
man
I'll
is
figure
in
it
the
out
name,
because
but
I'm
you
going to
know
be
what?
there.
It's fine.
I'm going to be there Thursday night, so I'm gonna ask him and figure that out. But go.
It's a respectful thing to do.
It is a respectful thing to do. Absolutely. Make sure we get this right. But no, a lot of great stuff happening there. And of course, our friends at RWA, VCW, 2PW. Stay tuned because we are going to be releasing the last VCW show free of charge. It's going to be premiering here in a couple weeks, leading into their show on June 30th. That's going to be very, very big, which is going to feature the return of Hardcore 69. Including Madman Pondo and I can't remember the other guy's name. Shadow WX, is that the name of the other guy? I think so. Wild stuff happening down at VCW as well.
Who's calling that match?
Who's calling that match?
Yeah.
That should be Jim LaMotta and Eamon Payton. So
I'm gonna listen just to hear Jim LaMotta say, what was it, Magnum 69?
Magnus.
Hi, Jim.
He was excited to meet Madman Pondo, that's for sure. So, no, good time down there. Great promotions happening there. 2PW's going crazy. They're going to have a great show here in a week. We'll touch on that probably a little bit more next week. Just follow indiewrestling.us on all social media for all the updates, free matches, and what's going on the network too. And I got an idea, some stuff we might be spinning up back up for the network. Might be bringing back some old favorites from old shows, if you like. We've been talking with people, and I got an inkling to start those back up this summer. So there might be some breakfasts, there might be some waffles, there might be some rigatonis, if you know what I'm talking about, if you are a fan of the network. So we might bring some of those back. So anyways, or we may finally have the one that was suggested, Bacon with Bitches, as all the ladies on Waffles with Women says we should have called it. I think they just wanted bacon.
And bitches, apparently.
And I don't know how that works. But anyways,
oh my God.
I was like, no, I thought that was too direct. It's like, no, you should call it this. I'm like, I guess I should have, but I have all these waffles. But anyways,
with waffles, Sorg.
yes, and of course, carrying this show on indiewrestling.us. Maybe you're watching us right now over on those platforms. So Meighan, you, of course, are the backstage correspondent for Ryse Wrestling down there in Uniontown. Is that the proper way to address you?
You know what? Chris never actually gave me a title, so I'm just the, I guess, the backstage interviewer for Ryse. If I had to do a resume, the backstage interviewer at Ryse.
Okay.
And I did commentary once.
Correspondent sounds a lot fancier,
I like correspondent.
doesn't it?
What did Missy Hyatt call herself?
Oh, I don't know.
Or what did me think of another backstage person that was awesome? But yeah, I kind of want
or the Bobby Heenan investigative journalist.
Yeah.
Journalist.
Yeah.
The Neb shit. But no, backstage correspondent sounds great. I'm good. I like that now.
There you go.
like
We've invented a position for you.
Because I'm not Barbara Walters back there, so I guess it's more of a correspondent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're not. You're. Well, okay. Are you asking the hard questions? Are you? I mean, how much are people getting upset with the questions that you're asking them? I think that's a good gauge of that.
Gavel David Lawless loses his temper with me. Gorgeous Gregory makes insinuations about me trying to peek on him. So I guess I'm asking some hard questions that piss somebody off.
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, Lawless has a problem if you look at him funny. So there's that too.
Yeah, he said he's going to get me fired, and then he called me a disgusting woman one time. But I think
What?
he was watching. I think he was watching too much politics and got inspired by somebody saying that same comment.
Okay. Yeah, he's very impressionable, isn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
great guy.
I think he's just impressionable by things like, you know, Netflix comedy series and things like that, right?
B movies, yeah. I don't know
B
what he
movies,
watches.
exactly. So
He mentioned TJ Hooker one time too.
he
which is
did. Like
He
at an
did.
880 show, wasn't it? That seemed like a
No, it
weird...
was at the pit fight show.
It was at Pit Fight.
Yeah.
I'm looking
And
directly
I was-
at Sorg. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not surprised. I'm not surprised.
In front of all these college kids, you're going to bring up TJ Hooker.
With
I mean, he did get me to crack up, and he did mention that he saw me crack up.
those college kids have no idea who Heather Locklear even is. Like, we got to remember, Gen Z does not know even really who J-Lo is, to be honest. They don't give a crap, which is why no one's going to her show. They don't know who Heather Locklear is. They don't know Melrose Place. They obviously don't know TJ Hooker, because if I was like really not even thought of during that era, I don't know what Lawless is doing watching it.
Hey, chat room and social media. Tell us if you know who TJ Hooker is in the chat room or at Mayhem Show on social media, Wrestling Mayhem Show. Hashtag.
I'm going to dress up like TJ Hooker this
Hashtag
Saturday.
Hashtag WMS912. See, what you're dressing as TJ Hooker this Saturday?
I don't know. I don't even know what she wore. What did she wear?
I'm going to Google TJ Hooker.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Uh-huh.
So while you're looking at that,
Wait, do you not know who TJ Hooker is?
Hold on, let me look this up.
I want you to look it up so you can get the reaction when you figure
Yeah.
out. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, you said that.
Yeah,
I'm like, am I wrong about TJ Hooker?
Yeah, you were.
So,
Oh, I dressed
think-
up like a police officer.
Did you see who
Yep.
the police officer is?
Oh, it's William Shatner.
Sure
I'm
is.
gonna choke and die. Wait, who else was on this show?
I don't think it mattered past
Yeah.
William Shatner, honestly. So,
Lawless could be Shatner, and then I'll be TJ Hooker.
I think that is I think TJ Hooker is Shatner, isn't it?
Oh, is that the Hooker?
Yeah, Sergeant
Yes.
Sergeant
Oh.
TJ Hooker.
I don't.
Heather Locklear, okay, is in it. And
I always
then,
thought she was TJ Hooker.
No, she is just
No.
she's Officer Stacy.
Oh, of course, Officer Stacy.
Of course, it's just the first name.
Stacy. Nothing wrong with the name Stacy, but you know.
Yeah.
Yes. She seems like a Stacy. Okay, TJ Hooker aside. You know,
Sorry, we can go so random. That's me.
let's talk about wrestling.
It's the Wrestling Mayhem show. It's
How did you
fine.
get
William Shatner was at WrestleMania, wasn't he?
God, he was.
Bring
Is
it
he in the Hall of Fame officially for
He's
WWE?
almost like 100 or something,
if
isn't
you-
he? Like
yeah,
legit.
probably.
Like he's in his 90s.
I legit walked out of Red Robin and held the door for a guy, and the daughter says he's 104.
I'm eating a Red Robin every day.
I know. It's like I didn't eat. I thought I was eating here too much. Apparently, I'm not eating here
Those
enough.
fries.
Yeah. Oh, I moved to the salad with that honey poppy. Not a sponsor, but please. Megan, you're in this wrestling world. You're in this crazy wrestling world, and it seems to be more and more places. To me, you simply appeared one day at Ryse Wrestling on their videos, and I'm just like, who is this? Which is usually my thing when I'm like, who the hell is this person that's popped up at the show? Is
We
my
met
generally.
before.
We had?
As like me, just like a fan.
Okay.
Yeah, but like as for me, like working, like that was definitely the first time
Mm-hmm.
at Ryse.
So how did you come to the wrestling world here?
Oh gosh. Okay, so it's so weird because I'm like, there's the camera, there's you, but I'm gonna look here.
Yeah.
So okay, so I was a huge wrestling fan as a kid. We were a big like NWA, like WCW family, and my favorite wrestler growing up was Jimmy Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever like my sister and I would play wrestling, I was always Jimmy Valiant with Manhattan Transfer song. So that was kind of like that was like my thing. So I always watched wrestling as a kid, and then I kind of didn't watch it for a while, and then when I want to say it might have been like 11. My dad was watching, I think it was like a Clash of the Champions. And, I watched it with him. And one of the matches that really caught my eye was Too Cold Scorpio and Ron Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And Too Cold Scorpio just had this look, right? He was just a bigger, muscular, stocky guy. But man, he flew. And he did all this crazy stuff. So when you're like 11 years old, like you're not going to so much understand the psychology and those matches, but you're going to see a guy fly in the air who's cool and dances to like a really cool song.
And that was relatively new in that era.
Very much
Yeah.
so. And that was also too, and that was like Clash of the Champions. So he was like the mystery partner. So like Too Cold Scorpio is really one of my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to finally meet him WrestleMania weekend at GCW. I even danced with him too. It was fun. So,
Awesome.
But yeah, so I then really got into WCW because my dad was not a WWF guy. So we watched nothing but WCW. So then I got into Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the Top 500, and I would read Pro Wrestling Illustrated all the time. And there's a few little articles that I've done over the years, one over an alias that you might be able to find scattered about in the 90s. So I'm showing my age, but so I would do a few little pieces there and everything, but I was just always a big fan. And then of course the Monday Night Wars happened, right? So, us Hulk Hogan kids, we wanted more of an edge. We wanted to see swearing, we wanted to see boobs, and that's one of the reasons why the Monday Night Wars worked, because we wanted to see, we grew up. So watched wrestling probably until maybe beginning of college, and I kind of fell out of it again. And it wasn't until 2019 I lost my job of 7 years, and I would only watch little snippets of wrestling on YouTube. And you know how if you look up a wrestling thing on YouTube, the algorithm is going to show you stuff that they feel you should see.
Yeah.
So that algorithm had me watch this show with this adorable blonde that made cupcakes and her partner that would stick lollipops down his trunks, Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae. So they had their own blog, and I was so vested in this blog. I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Well, obviously we know Joey Ryan's had some problems, but I love them as a tag team. One of my all-time favorite matches is the Young Bucks versus Candice and Joey. And so around this time I lost my job. It was my friend Davine. Hi, Davine. It was her birthday weekend. She's like, hey, I'm going to go to IWC Super Indie. And she's like, would you like to come? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, who's going to be there? And she's like, oh, Joey Ryan. I'm like, Joey Ryan? I got to go. So I go. I have the absolute best time. Best time watching it. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of brought into this wrestling thing again. And I started listening to Tony Schiavone's podcast again. It was just a whole thing. And so I just was watching wrestling as a fan. It wasn't until 2020 I got to meet more people that truly loved wrestling outside of Pittsburgh, and that was because of Conrad Thompson's podcasts. And a friend of mine, he was actually a former newscaster, he's like, okay, I'm going to start doing this YouTube show. We're going to air it live, kind of like this, and people can ask questions. And he's like, I booked us a guest. I'm like, oh, who's our guest? And he's like, Dan Bynum. So Dan Bynum was a producer with WCW. He did a lot of work with Ring of Honor. He Golf Network. He was incredible. So we got to interview him. He was also the guy that produced Bad Street USA and all of this. He's just everybody knows Dan Bynum. And then we interviewed him. I got to interview Christine Johnson, who was a producer with WWF, I believe, and WCW during the Monday Night Wars. And then we actually facilitated a Nitro Girl reunion. So we got some of the Nitro Girls together. And that was a lot of fun because really when you think about the 90s, what other time did you see that many women in a ring together? It has probably been a good 15 years before that happened again, until you got the Nitro Girls together in that ring dancing. And these girls aren't just the dancing they were doing is if you follow the NFL style, the NBA style, I mean, these girls are doing double turns in this bouncy ring. I mean, they're so talented. And so we did that reunion, and then it facilitated another reunion that Eric Bischoff hosted. So it was just crazy. So I'm like, oh my God, this is I'm really enjoying this. And then from there, I got to host a few things for ad-free shows, which is Conrad's thing. So I just was really enjoying all of this. And, I started making friends, with, wrestling friends in the Pittsburgh area, like Chris LaRusso and Julia Lynn and everything. And it really wasn't until March 2022 where Chris LaRusso, who is the matchmaker for Ryse Wrestling, he's like, hey, text Meighan, can you call me? I'm thinking, oh my God, what happened? Something, because Chris would just text. I'm like, okay, hi, Chris. He's like, yes, I have a question to ask you. Would you like to be the interviewer for Ryse?
I love that this is the voice of Chris Russo.
I don't know Chris's voice.
I mean, it is.
There needs to be.
It's not wrong.
It's basically.
I don't know.
So uncanny.
You know what there needs to be a compilation of, and I'm going to task anybody, do a compilation of Chris LaRusso breaking up fights. It's just
and just yelling at people.
He's protecting fans. But anyway, he asked, hey, I just took over booking, matchmaking for Ryse Wrestling. He's like, we have some awesome things going on here. Would you like to be the backstage interview? Maybe just come by and do a couple interviews, right? It's been 2 years. And and here I am.
That's how it starts.
Yeah. And then also going back to, I should have mentioned August 2021, I started working for Tony Schiavone at his Comic-Cons and WrestleCons, and he released Butts and Seats. I got to help with that book tour. Most recently,
we have a copy in the back. Yes.
Good. Did he sign it?
I don't think I got the signed copy. No.
Okay. Well, next time bring it, and
I'll bring it to WrestleCon next year.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
You hook me up. Okay.
But yeah, and I've been with him for about almost 3 years now, and friend of the family and everything. So it's just that's really exciting too. So I actually did that before I did Ryse. So my journey into pro wrestling, I think, is more different than anybody else because people just think I'm a fan that like held a mic, but I've got to see the business through a different lens than most people.
Sounds like you got really kind
of,
and
I don't take that for granted.
It sounds like you really got kind of pulled into it too, right? Like just kind of sucked into it, hardcore.
Sometimes you feel the pull.
Yeah,
and it's I know it's, and even like as a young girl, like I always wanted to like have my own wrestling show and and host a wrestling show. I always wanted to be a wrestler too, but I came up of the era, not to knock myself, where I just didn't have the look. When I was 20, I looked 14, and again, I'm not revealing my age here, but you think about like Jackie Gata on Tough Enough. The girl's 5'10". That was the era, pardon my language, of tits on a stick. That's what the mid 2000s were. That was the body standard. And when they're saying like, and at the top, I was the same size as Molly Holly, and they're calling Molly Holly fat. They're calling Mickey James fat. Like I didn't stand a chance. And I was a college cheerleader. Like that would have been like the proper foray into wrestling for me. And I just knew like I didn't have the look. I didn't want to run with Humorous, and it wasn't. I didn't know about indies, so that dream never happened until 20 years later.
And you found the perfect niche for you.
I guess, yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing. And you've been making your rounds in front of the camera as well. We've been working with, of course, NWA Exodus Pro, doing some production for them. And then, I was told this concept about, hey, there's going to be this Roman theme and Pretty Boy Smooth, and Pastor CeeLo bought the VIP seats. And we get there and they're setting everything up, and then here's you and another familiar face, and we just get all these shots of you feeding grapes to PB.
You don't have those with you right now, do you?
Oh, give me a second here. God. Give me just one moment here.
Well, Pretty Boy Smooth, he's a god, and he needs women in virgin white sitting on his lap and around him, feeding him grapes and feeding him, wine. That's PB Smooth. Pretty Boy Smooth.
What month was that when we did that?
I think that was before WrestleMania, by the way. That was March, yeah. Because I was saying then the last time I saw you would have been WrestleMania weekend.
That seems to make sense, because I did miss this last show due to some scheduling conflicts.
I did too. It was the same weekend as Ryse.
Yeah. So let me see if I can get a spot here. Well, I did find the Toga Battle Royal that happened.
Awesome was that? Right? There's Cristiano Argento, Russell's local.
There's Glenn Spector is a part of this.
Kane and Christopher, man, he's just like up and coming.
It's a wild, and I haven't even seen, again, Chachi covered the last one because I was unfortunately occupied with another gig. But I saw that they had like they had a Sam Beal's beer bash this last show.
Oh, I missed that.
And Bowtie Josh got completely plastered and passed out there. I got to hang with Josh last week at the Combat One show, for a little bit. So hearing how that all went.
Getting to know Josh, he's just such a sweetheart. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry you missed the last Exodus show," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was working Ryse." He's like, "Look what happened to me." I said, "Oh my gosh." So yeah, he wasn't a good thing.
Still looking for a shot there. We'll find this before the end of the show. Maybe I'll have to pick one up here for the break here. So, of course, Ryse Wrestling. We haven't been a part of it here since sometime last year. So I'm not up. What's up? I see. EC3 has been a part of that, bringing the NWA title here to the greater Pittsburgh area, and I think there's a big show happening this weekend as well, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So this Saturday, June 8th. Oh, I'm not talking into the mic. I got too relaxed. Hi.
There you go.
I got too
The couch
relaxed.
does that to you. The couch does do that to you.
You know what? And with Ryse, if you watch my first few events of interviews, I'm like this into the mic, and it's real tinny and it's annoying. So they would play them live before the event, and it's like hi, and everybody else is like hi. You know, it just was so obnoxious. So shame on me. But no, anyway, June 8th, this Saturday, we have an event in Uniontown. It is the National Wrestling Alliance. This is sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance. It is EC3's World Heavyweight Championship put up on the line against the Urban Playboy, Pretty Boy Smooth. This is crazy. So whenever EC3 was last at Ryse, he was defending his title against Ron Mathis, and that was because Ron Mathis actually had a more impressive win-loss record than Pretty Boy Smooth, which is crazy to even think of, because Pretty Boy Smooth was the, you know, at the time, the previous, you know, grand champion. And then just coming into, you know, the last Ryse event was when matchmaker Chris LaRusso announced, like, hey, you know, we all know the NWA title is going to be defended again, but guess what, Pretty Boy Smooth? You're going to be the one fighting for it. So Pretty Boy Smooth just won, you know, the Exodus title with NWA Exodus.
And defended the first defense was on the 880 wrestling show here a couple Fridays ago.
Let's talk about that against another badass, Gannon Jones Jr. I'm sad I missed that match. But I know I can go to indiewrestling.us, right?
Yes, and watch it for free. Yeah. That's what I did. I watched it. I actually watched it on the intermission for the other show I had to work that night. So
I mean, you could have had that as a separate pay-per-view. Like
absolutely, absolutely.
So like much like EC3, Pretty Boy Smooth is a fighting champion. I can't announce it here, but stay tuned to Ryse Wrestling social media. There's probably going to be an announcement about that match in a good way. In a good way. So the match is going on. I mean, EC3 was just overseas, but Pretty Boy Smooth made an announcement. So that just stay tuned to Ryse social media just to see that announcement.
EC3's hanging around Pittsburgh a lot because he's coming up at Ryse here this week. He's going to be on Indiana, PA for Bubba Brewer's promotion.
Oh, yeah.
That we're going to be at helping out with. And I just saw an announcement OVW's coming to town in August. Up in Cheswick. Wow. Like just saw the ad for it.
Cheswick.
It's like the Green or the Mountain View Amphitheater or something. I've never heard of it.
I grew up around Cheswick, but Cheswick could be also like Fox Chapel too in a way. Like it merges where it goes behind the highway. But that is, I know OVW is touring.
Yes.
Much like CYN did and GCW does. So it's really exciting for OVW. And a lot of local talent on there again, too, like Jason Hendricks and some other names. So I did not know that announcement. So, wow.
Yeah, that popped up in some of the conversations here last night or the night before or something like that. So very, very, very cool that they're coming in and seeing EC3 come through several promotions at this point actually. So, yep. So, and of course we saw EC3 up at formerly known as Revenge Wrestling up in Erie, with John McChesney and everything. So I'm glad to see, like, he's bringing that, like, I do like what NWA is doing. Like, they just did this Back to the Territories. And I was actually seeing posts by what I think is their producer for NWA on LinkedIn talking about the promotion that they did for it. And they had it in, like, in Knoxville, Tennessee, in a high school gymnasium.
Yes.
But it was a TV taping for the CW show. I'm very fascinated. You know that they, you know, if you've watched Power since it's come on YouTube, like they're doing that very old school kind of vibe to it. They've done different that studio wrestling thing. I want to see what they do with filming a high school gymnasium as we classically do in indie wrestling, right? In so many ways.
Because you know it's not a last resort venue for them. You know they put a lot of thought.
That was a choice venue for them. They decided to do this.
When I first heard that, I'm like, well, I remember like ECW used to film at like Valley High School in New Kensington in the day. Like I remember like staying up late to watch ECW with my dad, and they'd play that really cool song, and it's like, oh, at Valley High School.
Yeah. But also, did it look like a high school at that? Well, I guess they were good. Ring of Honor is the one that covered up really well.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell that they were in a gymnasium half the time with Ring of Honor. It's gonna
look kind of cool if they make, like it's just a different look.
Now, my only question is, I love NWA, I want to watch more NWA, but please CW, give me a reason to give you $5 to get rid of those damn ads. That's all I want. That's all I want. The ads in the app, I cannot stand.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I don't watch ad stuff. If I could watch Raw without ads, which I will be able in January, I would be doing it. That's why I haven't caught up on NXT, because I have to wait till Thursdays for it to come on the Peacock.
No ads.
No ads. So, so Megan, no, it's been awesome to get to know you here. We've talked backstage a few times, catching up with you at WrestleCon and everything like that, and you're doing really cool stuff. And I definitely love the vibe that you're bringing to those interviews when you pop up in there. So it's so hard to get a professional looking, sounding person on camera for those a lot of times and a lot of promotions. So I'm glad you brought that to the show.
I feel like I know what I'm doing half the time, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, but none of us feel like we know what we're doing all the time.
No.
It's what it looks like in front of the camera. You don't people don't know when we do live shows half the stuff that failed during the show. Okay, Rizz, you can attest to this. You've been a part of those. No, and everybody says you guys have an amazing looking show. Look, he's got his hand in his hand. He's off camera because he's been in situations that have made him cry. Are you having production nightmares yet? Are you at that point? Yeah, he's nodding. He's nodding. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I literally had one last night, and I've been taking gummies to make sure I don't.
Oh gosh.
So yeah. So that's that's been a stress.
I haven't done that yet.
They're no longer wake up in a cold sweat things, but they're definitely like, yeah, this is going to shit. Kind of in my head. I think I was wrestling the Undertaker in this one.
Oh God!
At an indie show.
Is it a recurring
in my
dream?
Head. It's an absolutely recurring. Do you have recurring ones about like interviewing or being on camera or anything like that yet?
I've had a recurring dream for 30 years now. Can I share it with you?
Okay.
Okay. This is on. I swear to God, I was just sharing this with somebody the other week.
Here we go.
I have a recurring dream where. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Do you remember when Big Van Vader and Sid Vicious were a tag team called the Masters of the Power Bomb, and they would just like power bomb the crap out of this enhancement talent that only been training for 2 weeks?
I did not watch WCW in that era, but that sounds amazing.
This is pre-Monday Night War era. That scared the balls out of me. Okay. So I have this recurring dream. It happens probably like twice a year where, okay, Megan, you're gonna wrestle tonight on WCW, and I'm like, yeah, I get to be a wrestler, and you're gonna be facing Vader, and I'm like. I'm trying everything to like get out of the match, and I really just like let him just like pin me. I'm like, just pin me instead. Don't powerbomb me. And I like run out, and then I wake up. It's been going on for like 30 years. This dream about Vader, like I'm wrestling Vader. I swear to God.
Wow. I've been having the one where I'm being put in a wrestling match, and I have no idea what to do. Like that's been one that's been popping up.
That's the
lately.
Vader one. Like I really don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm like excited I'm being in a match, but then I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to fake it. And there's like, you're wrestling Vader. And then you hear you hear the theme. Yeah. And I'm just like,
Rizz, who have you wrestled in your dreams?
Hang on.
Where are you going? Wait, he's like his headset off. He's going somewhere.
He's probably
what are you doing?
Smut.
What? He's disappearing into the fade, and he's got his Hulk Hogan Wrestle Buddy.
Yay.
And he's putting the headset back on, and
I have wrestled in my dreams this exact Wrestle Buddy of Hulk Hogan.
If I start laughing, I'll cough. So.
And of course, Hulk Hogan went over.
Were you scared shitless of Hulk Hogan, or was this like a mutual like bro to bro match?
So,
getting deep here. This should have been for Patreon.
So, remember the Goosebumps episode, Night of the Living Dummies, the book and the TV show?
I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh,
I think Megan, Rizz, I think Megan and I may be of a different era than you to know.
I think we're
I remember.
It may be older than you though. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
But
like my younger brother's into Goosebumps.
As soon as that. I read that book and watched that episode. Mm-hmm. As soon as I watched that, dream was he came alive. This guy.
Okay.
The Wrestle Buddy.
Yeah, Wrestle Buddy.
The Hulk Hogan Wrestle Buddy.
Did he shake his arms?
Wrestled me. Attacked me.
Oh.
It was a weird dream.
Okay. For those that don't know the Goosebumps thing, like Chucky style?
Yes.
That's the greatest reaction.
Talking, not like Hulk Hogan, which is weird, but talking.
Child's Play scares me so much. I can't.
Talking like the dummy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's even scarier.
It's very scary.
How did the mouth move on that thing?
I think it was like more... Yeah, I think I remember like it was moving like,
it was like animated.
comically.
Comically?
Yeah. not comically, animated, I guess is a better way, as you said it. This is a weird episode.
How
This is a
often,
great
how often
episode.
have you had this dream, Riz? How often has this dream come up?
I hadn't had it in a while.
I'm gonna dream about Vader tonight, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Why couldn't I dream about like someone really hot? Instead of dreaming about wrestling. Vader.
I'm sure Vader is somebody's bag, right?
Well, he does have a son, so somebody bagged that at one point. His son.
I mean, Stan Hansen has his eye.
Wait, what? Oh, Stan Hansen owns his eyeball.
No, I was because he knocked. I think it was Hansen who knocked his eye out.
I thought it was Cactus Jack, or maybe it happened twice.
Maybe it happened multiple times.
Oh,
I just remember the image of him taking off the mask, and it just like
I thought that was with
swelled up.
Cactus Jack. Maybe it happened twice. We're gonna have to watch that be a
We're gonna
dream
have-
tonight too.
yeah.
So I've gone over the Chat GPT, and I got a GPT in here that's a dream interpreter, and I just plugged in. I had a dream that my Hulk Hogan Wrestle Buddy stuffed character comes alive and wrestles me and wins the wrestling match. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put this on
I'm
Riz.
scared.
Let's see. Dreaming of a toy stuffed character come to life can signify various things depending on the context and emotions involved. Riz, help follow along with this. This became
Okay.
your interview. Sorry, Megan.
No, I'm invested in this.
We'll do your dream next. Childhood memories and nostalgia. Wrestle buddies like your Hulk Hogan stuffed character might bring back fond memories from your childhood. Dreaming it coming to life could symbolize a longing for simpler times or a desire to reconnect with your inner child.
Oh, that.
Aw.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. Let's see. Inner conflict. Wrestling in dreams often represents inner conflict or a struggle within yourself. The fact that Hulk Hogan character wins might indicate that you're feeling overpowered by certain aspect of yourself or by external pressures.
Sorg.
What, me?
Feeling pressures from you, and this is why this dream is coming. You
This is
cause
happening.
stress. in
Because I
his
keep
life.
saying, Riz, hold this camera for Lance Archer versus Beastman.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Number 3, personal strength and power. Hulk Hogan is a symbol of strength and power. Brother. This dream might reflect that your perception of strength and how you measure up against it. Losing the match could suggest feelings of inadequacy or a fear of not being strong enough to tackle certain challenges in your life.
Oh,
shit.
Riz.
We are getting someplace. We're going someplace.
Do I need like a couch here? Just having you do this? Just
Well, Megan's on the couch,
Do I
so
have
we
to
got one
pay
right
you?
over here. There you
I
go.
have to pay you for this service. or-
You're already
right now?
paid my Patreon, so
That's
so
true.
there you go. Number 4, this is the last one. I think this is the last one. Oh no, there's more. There's more.
Oh, God.
Number 4, entertainment and fun. On a lighter night, this dream might simply be a reflection of your interests or recent activities. If you've been watching wrestling or thinking about it, your mind could be processing these thoughts during sleep. Also, you see it every night before you go to sleep. That might
Yes.
also be a part of it too, right?
Right.
Do you snuggle with it every night?
It's always like right over there.
Not is it? In
It
the
hasn't
bed?
moved.
Oh no.
Actually, let me actually do this because it's over there
Oh.
in my chair
Oh, that's cool.
with my fantasy football championship.
This
That's
is
a
the way.
perfect seat for him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and now I'm doing the dangerous thing of asking it to. Was not able to generate due to policy restrictions.
Policy?
So they probably are not allowed to depict Hulk Hogan in a dream. So
Oh, wait, was it like an AI like?
yes, I'm
photo
in chat. I'm in Chat
generator
GPT.
Is it like an art generator? as well?
No, I'm in Chat GPT, and it's asked, "Do you want me to visualize this? Do you want me to visualize this dream?"
Oh.
And it can't.
No.
I'm worried to
Okay.
hear what it says about me.
Well, we'll type that in, and we'll find out after the break, because we're going to go see some commercials. Actually, it's going to be a short break because I didn't load in a lot of the commercials. So we're going to take a really brief one, and we'll be right back with more Dream Interpretation Mayhem Show, I guess, right after this. Wrestling Mayhem Show. We are back. Meighan Nelson still with us. Hello. That was that finger?
How
What is
cheesy
like
is that?
point?
I like Larry Zbyszko.
Larry Zbyszko. Oh my God. My wife had a phone conversation with Larry Zbyszko one time.
What?
Yeah. We were trying to get him we actually paid the down payment for an interview that never happened because we were supposed to go down for WrestleMania one year, and then some family emergency happened. We never made it down. But she got to have the conversation because I think he thought it was for something else, and it was for a documentary we were working on. So she's just like, I just had like a half an hour conversation with Larry Zbyszko. I'm like, yep, isn't that amazing? So that is wild, because I know I had sent a replacement to do Exodus and the last show. And he's done RWA and everything, Chachi on the show. He had never worked something that was like, he's like, I'm in a creative meeting with Sandow and EC3. What the hell is going on? And then I'm like, dude, welcome to the fucking show. This has been my life for the last like 10 years.
Oh my God. But just those two.
Exactly.
Two minds, like,
exactly.
He got a clinic for free.
Absolutely. So, and I just told him, I actually had brunch with him the other day, and I was like, you can do anything now, right? He's like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, told you, like, you weren't even live, there's like one thing that I have to go back and fix, it's like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem, man. So, that's the life we live now. I got turned, like, the moment I got to shake Ric Flair's hand randomly backstage at a wrestling show in 2009, that's when it was over for me. I was just like, I just don't want to. My issue is I don't talk to everybody because I don't want to just look like an idiot fan. Like, I don't say anything to anybody unless I have something important, like worthwhile to say. I don't want to say hi just because I can say I talked to that person, right? So,
Yeah, like I remember last month during the Lance Archer RWA thing. One of the people that was working with us came up to me and goes, "Man, that I shook Lance Archer's hand, and he
is this one of our new guys?"
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's still very new to this situation.
Yeah. He goes, I tried. Lance Archer gave me a weird look. I'm like, and Chachi and I looked at each other and we're like, yeah, that's why we don't really like I don't like it's not that we don't want to. It's that we know that there are people that don't want to. Like, so we just kind of keep it to ourselves. And if somebody wants to come up to us and shake our hand,
and that's the thing. You guys are tucked in a corner in production, doing your thing. You got there before all the wrestlers. You have no obligation, none of that obligation to shake everybody's hand coming in the door, right? But a lot of them will come to you and everything like that. So, no, absolutely. So, and everybody else knows except for him what you guys are there to do for the most part, right? Especially if you don't have a camera in your hand or a headset on or something. So absolutely. So it's a wild world. It's a wild world to be doing these things, and it's always been fascinating to me. The if you work something in a local independent, sooner or later you're going to run into people that you see on TV. And then after so many years, you're just like, yeah, I know half the people on TV. Like kind of situation.
But,
it's wild.
TV or not, introduce yourself to every single person.
Absolutely,
that
you never know.
Let them know you're there, and these aren't just like things that. It comes, it's everybody in the entire business, and don't, I know it's weird for me to say because I don't wrestle, you know what I mean? But like just talking with people and kind of having a different experience in wrestling maybe than most, I don't know. Just even if it's your second match, introduce yourself to everybody and let them know that you're there. Don't be shy. Just say hi and be professional. And it really goes a long way. Let them know why you're in that locker room. Because if there's one thing that I've sometimes noticed is somebody might be, I've wrestled for this promotion. I can just wander backstage at Ryse or 880 or whatever. And I couldn't imagine doing that. No. That's not my home.
I still buy a ticket. I bought a ticket for a promotion that we were talking with to be on our network. And I was like, I'm still going to show up and buy a ticket. I'm not coming backstage. Like literally, I was invited backstage. I'm like, can I watch this match? Because my friend's in this match first. I want to see how this goes first. And then came back and said hi. I never presume. I never do. And
I mean, I even purchased a ticket to 880 if I'm not working.
See?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Rizz,
one of
Rizz,
those Friday shows.
Rizz,
I'm
you
like,
don't have to do that anymore. I think
know,
you're
I'm
past
going
that
to.
point for sure. So, but I've seen other commentators and other people come in and they'll buy a ticket and say, I'm not here to work, I'm here to support, this kind of thing. I'm still in an ongoing argument with Enjoy Wrestling to buy tickets. For instance,
Talk about. Do you do Enjoy?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't do Enjoy. I know I buy tickets for Enjoy.
You buy okay.
And I worked with Scotty on several things. And
Man, what a
and
card.
I've had Rich Bocchini yell at me for buying a ticket. He's like, this place is sold out. Somebody else could have had that. You completely could have hung out. I'm like, nope, I'm going to support it. I'm in the crowd, and I want no obligation that anybody wants me to do anything because I just want to sit here and watch the show.
Yeah.
I've told Scotty I do not watch the show unless there's a particular match because it gives me FOMO for missing the show because I miss so many of them because of my schedule.
Yeah.
We have tickets for the Stage AE show.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be unreal.
and there was like, hey, you can come. I'm like, no, I have tickets for the 4th row. I'm here. I'm like, unless you have something very explicitly you need me to do, I am going to be in that seat.
Yep.
Yelling at Darius, and having fun and having a blast, and decompressing because that's what I need, No, I appreciate that there's promotions like that in KSW I can go to and not care, or Pros of Wrestling I got to go to a couple weeks ago.
Just ask. Don't just assume. Just
absolutely.
ask.
Absolutely.
And usually they'll be cool with it. Like, oh yeah, come back here, or you know what, it's okay you're back here, but we need you behind Gorilla or something, just because.
Absolutely. Like, it's more fun, and even for me it's more interesting and fun for me to be in the crowd to watch the wrestling and not backstage where I feel like I'm in the way, because I've done that too many. I feel like I've been stuck in that position too many times, assisting somebody, kind of thing. So that's I feel more out of place back there unless it's like 50% people I know or something. But yeah, I've
only been backstage for one other indie promotion, and that was Exodus. So, and I made sure, I'm just here to help out. And I think the first time I was just there because I'd never been backstage at another event before. And really what I did was, I'm here to help. Let me know if you need anything. And about an hour later, Meighan, here's my credit card. Would you mind grabbing some, things for the pizzas that we're going to be selling? I'm like, yep. And I'll be the best person to pick up those plates.
There you go.
The gloves.
You go. Yeah.
And then of course, the next, because I just really wanted to see what it was like. And of course, the next event was.
And that's what happens. And then you just become the Grape Girl. Speaking of which, did I get that? Oh, what tab did I put that in? This is the situation we're talking with. If you're with us on video version of this, this is something. I know not a lot of this video. There you are. Oh, look at that. You're part of that entourage in the background there.
There's Josh.
And CeeLo's there, and Pretty Boy Smooth's hanging out, and towering over Josh as you would. So this had been a fun night. I love the theming they do on these shows so much. The first show I did with them was like a casino night situation. They didn't do like the VIP seat thing like this, or what they did with Sam Beal with the Beer Fest this last time. But like, man, they have like really really cool ideas and no budget, which makes it a lot more fun, to be honest.
I love a good theme. I love a good theme. Actually, I love when they do stuff like this, like actually in the crowds, like the last event with the beer. I thought that was really cool. And this was just a lot of fun, having our own VIP seating. Thank you, CeeLo. And, getting to watch the event through Pretty Boy Smooth's eyes.
Yeah, and they were there for most of the show too. It was pretty incredible. I mean, they had pillars, they had all kinds of things. Like there always seems to be an arts and crafts section of the pre-show setup, which is fantastic.
It was so much fun just seeing everyone envy us. Envy PV Smooth.
So it was like very and I feel like they have a little bit of that mood that NWA has been doing, where like Power was this whole, like, there's this vibe, like it's that old NWA vibe. There's this high school thing we talked about. So like I feel like they're carrying that, a little bit of that with them with the Exodus show. So
Almost Paradise is the next one.
Almost Paradise. I'm afraid to find out what they're going to do with this one, so looking forward to that production meeting.
Gotta find an outfit.
Gotta find an outfit for Almost Paradise. I mean, what is it? A beach theme? Is it are we is everybody wearing floral patterns?
That song Almost Paradise, Knocking on Heaven's Door, what movie was that? Or was that a soap opera?
I don't know.
Do you know what song I'm talking about? I'm not
I'm
gonna
sure.
sing it.
I'm sure I'm going to be very aware by the time the show
It's
comes
probably
up.
like beach theme. It's probably like florals.
Oh, there's going to be inflatables. Because I remember there was an IWC show we did one time. I think it was the first time I met Raylan. And,
she's so fun.
And it was Wipeout. Rizz, do you remember this? He's
I
nodding.
vaguely remember this.
This is the one where I think the entire faction of the Sexy Talented Dudes did a run-in for Jimmy DeMarco.
They all came out with floaties on.
As lifeguards and everything. Yeah, that was a pretty incredible show. It's over on the YouTube full show. You can go check it out. It was a lot of fun. I think Robbie E might have been part of it.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was a crazy show. So definitely a lot of fun.
Man, what an era.
I love wrestling. I love when people kind of put some creativity in the shows and not just like here's a ring and this and we're gonna wrestle and everything like that. No, I mean there's some that have great stories, but this just I just love I go and this reminded me a lot of it. But WrestleMania 9 Caesar's Palace is still one of my favorite WrestleManias because it's so weird and amazing.
But
and
they stayed true to that theme.
They freaking went with it. Welcome to the WWF, JR. Here's your toga.
God bless him.
God bless him.
My favorite inflatable theme wrestling show was the first ever AEW pay-per-view. So remember the Young Bucks? We used to go to Cracker Barrel all the time, and Cracker Barrel ended up sponsoring.
And they had the barrels, right?
So Cracker Barrel sponsored their Cracker Barrel is like, you take grandma to Cracker Barrel.
Was that All In that they did that?
It was All In, and that was the same show where Joey Ryan had the penis druids. So you have these penis druids like the Undertaker coming down with Cracker Barrel logos everywhere. Cracker Barrel never sponsored AEW again.
Nope, never came along for the ride after that one, I guess.
How do you think families are created? They gotta, I don't know.
I just signed up for a Cracker Barrel's reward because I went twice in a month, and I was like, I should probably sign up for this.
Did?
We're going here a lot lately, and I should be getting points for this stuff.
I heard they changed the menu a little bit. I heard like the CEO of Taco Bell went to Cracker Barrel.
What?
Yeah, I was reading that.
Can't wait for those creations. Anyway, we should get back to some wrestling. Something happened at AEW. Oh, hey, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for the championship.
Oh, I love
How
Swerve.
about that?
I mean, yes.
The Casino Battle Royal. Was this last week that this happened? Yes, the Casino
Memorial
Battle
Day
Royal
weekend.
Match. What?
Was it Memorial Day weekend?
I think it was the Wednesday after, yes.
The Wednesday after, okay.
This had so many surprises, and I love that because the whole concept of it is somebody's going to randomly come out, but the match can still end at any point by pinfall. The first two guys come out, and there's a pinfall before anybody else gets in there. It's over, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a concept. And then perfectly, Roderick Strong is on I think a Rampage on Friday saying, I was the next guy out. I should have won this thing.
Wait.
So they had the pinfall. Allegedly, Roderick Strong would have been the next person out at the time interval, but the match ended before he was allowed to come out.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So ideally, you have an infinite number of people that could have been in line backstage to come out for this thing. It's just like, when you have like a randomized battle royal where you have a button or something and you show all these faces and you're just like, what?
You don't know who's back there.
You're like, what? Ric Flair's backstage, but he never comes out.
But it's a pinfall battle royal, so it's not like last 2 men
exactly.
standing.
It's not just like here's random people coming out. It's like the random people you never saw that could have completely come out.
Oh, can you imagine? So maybe they need to have another royal of those people for like number one. I don't know.
But you can create this like, oh, I was anybody can. Okay, storyline wise, anybody can come out and say I was the next guy. And now he's getting a champion. He's getting I think he got a championship match with Swerve on this Wednesday.
Oh, that is something. So Roderick was the next. Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. So whenever you first told me, I'm like, wait a minute. Did continuity mess? Like, I don't know.
No, you just
but that is cool.
You can just make that claim and go with it.
I know.
It's a beautiful open-ended book that you could do some storytelling
first runner
with.
up.
And it's like, and Roderick Strong is the perfect person to say, I completely would have been out there and beat the guy, right?
Oh, I like that. I know. I'm kind of behind a little bit.
We're catching you up. That's what we do on this show.
I was
It's a
sick
service
last
for
week.
you. Casino Gauntlet match. I'm sorry. It was a Casino Gauntlet match. our research department is letting me know. Cracker Barrel fourth meal. We're saying. You have to go through a yard sale to get your table at Cracker Barrel. Listen, man, there's some wonderfully chic stuff in there. And Katie's been loving the Hello Kitty stuff selection they've had. And I look for a Snoopy for my mother every time. I got an Uncle Sam Snoopy for the ride to Dollywood. So some good stuff in there.
Did you hear about the Snoopy that was being sold at CVS that had a puffer jacket, and it sold out like within like the day? They would all come in, and they were selling like on eBay or whatever for like 3 times as much for like
on a
couple hundreds. It's like a special Snoopy in a puffer jacket. Like, people that love Snoopy don't play around.
Oh, there he is. Wow, this is a whole thing.
Isn't it cute?
That is,
how much are they selling for now?
I don't know. I just found it on Reddit.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's apparently ready to sell. Let's see what it says here. If it says how much it's going for.
And you said Katie's the one that loves the Snoopies?
No, my mother loves the
your mother
Snoopies.
loves
She's
the Snoopies.
into the
Hello Kitties, yes.
That's the big thing.
Oh, Hello Kitty is a big
yes. Like everything. I don't like Crocs and everything. It's a whole thing with her.
I gotta ask her.
It's only $79.
Only.
That's cheaper than Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of money, but it's a lot less than I thought it would be.
Yes. So I don't know what else is happening with AEW. Collision was a pre-tape, so it was a little bit of a hodgepodge a little bit there. So, but Will Ospreay's killing it. Had a match with Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Apparently Kyle O'Reilly, or apparently Will Ospreay's not going home this month because he's on every damn episode of AEW, it seems. But I guess that was a pre-tape, so it might have been back-to-back nights. But but Forbidden Door, that's going to be at the end of the month here. We'll see how that shapes up here. Interesting, they are having a lot of CMLL talent now.
Yeah.
I know they kind of opened up the door to that. So I don't think that's an ill will with AAA. I think they just kind of swapped contracts.
Lady Frost is a CMLL, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's been very involved down there. Also, shout outs, Lady Frost and Victor Benjamin's boxing gym is opening up at the end of the month as well.
How exciting is that in Wexford, right?
In Wexford,
yeah.
yes.
Congratulations. That's crazy. I just saw that today. I'm like, oh my God, where do they have time? Because Lady Frost has been out of town for like the past 3 weeks, like in Alaska and everything. And it's just.
And he's been everywhere too.
Yes.
I've seen bookings with him all over the place. He's traveling around. So it's those two go hard. that's let me just put it that way. So you know that I'm not surprised that they have like a side business. You know, I think they've been running a side hustle for the longest time. You know, you know, so. Like those guys, they go hard. They do great, and that it makes sense that she's where she is with everything like that.
Absolutely. And talking about AEW again and Lady Frost and Collision and all of that, AEW is in Youngstown, Ohio, on the 15th next Saturday. So that is. I kind of like these they're big cities, you know what I mean? But they're not the ones with like major
they're
airports.
Getting some love,
they're getting love,
Youngstown
like Erie,
area,
Youngstown.
you know, not far from the old Richfield Coliseum that used to have like Survivor Series, you know.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So there's history there,
Yeah.
you know. I was so mad when I realized like later, like growing up, I was always I'm from north. I'm from a little closer to Erie.
Oh, okay.
But like we got Youngstown channel, so I always got the coming to the Richfield Coliseum. I didn't realize how close we are to the Richfield Coliseum growing up, and how I'm like, why didn't I ask my parents to go to the Richfield Coliseum? I thought it was days away in my mind, in my childhood mind, watching Saturday or Sunday Morning Superstars, you know. So you know, it's just like, oh man. I asked my mom, I'm like, did I ever ask to go to wrestling? And she's like, I don't think you did. I'm like, would we have gone? She's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, so I screwed myself on this one.
Yeah, your wall would have been more covered in wrestling stuff.
I mean, it already was. It already was. But you know, I don't know what that would have opened up on me.
Who was on your wall growing up?
Who was on my wall growing up?
As a teenager liking wrestling.
Oh, as a teenager liking wrestling. What did I have for posters?
For junior high.
God, whatever was in the WWF magazine in the early 90s, I suppose. I cannot remember. It's pre-Nirvana. I got a lot of those posters from the fair where you had the dart game and you got a poster like every damn time.
Remember the Buns N' Roses ones they would show?
Yeah.
At the carnival, they had like the...
Yeah, there'd be like a Guns N' Roses one. So then I was... And of course, I'm like a early teenager. So of course, I have the Baywatch, what's her face?
Pamela?
Pamela
Pamela,
Anderson
yeah. Pamela
one
Anderson.
and that kind of stuff because of course I was that age. I'm sure there was a Stone Cold. I'm sure it was something like that. But yeah, I was a Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior kid.
Okay.
Growing up, big time. So you know, and fell out for a little bit. Came back when we finally got like satellite, so I could watch wrestling again.
Yeah.
So right before the NWO, and I thought WWF was trash at the time. Did not get into it until '98.
Really? Because I started watching WWF when I was, again, I'm aging myself. I think I was like 13. So this might have been like 94, 12, something like that. Yeah. So I remember like, you know, puberty's coming around and I watched, you know, WCW with my dad. And then of course I, you know, enter Marcus Alexander Bagwell in the room. Like, oh, he's like really hot. And then
American males.
I have a funny story about him. But anyway, but then, you know, my friend watched WWF and she's like, you got to see this guy. And I'm like, who? She's like, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, Bret Hart. I'm like, oh, so, you know, my wall was like Paul Gosselaar, Mario Lopez, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Shawn Michaels. That's probably why I have bad taste in men. Shawn Michaels, you know, Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Oh, I was devastated when I heard Shawn Michaels dated Rhonda Shear. That I wasn't bawling, but I was just like, man, what does she have that I don't have?
Wow.
You know, I'm just like a kid. Well, I had a hard time too when I heard that Missy Hyatt dated Jason Hervey. That was a thing. With Polly Dangerously. That was hockey never disappointed me like wrestling.
That's the quote right there. That's a show title.
The only time I was disappointed in hockey was when I found one of my dad's Playboys and I saw a Mary Lemieux article in there. And I was like, Mary Lemieux's in a nudie magazine. It was like a big thing.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah, I was early WWF. Watched the Sunday morning shows and then all the pay-per-views, like the video store in my town, in my small one light town, had all the WWF
Coliseum home video.
Coliseum home video. I bought a lot of those when they were getting rid of the non WrestleMania ones, like a lot of like the best ofs and unusual matches and Brutus Beefcake and stuff like that. So got a lot of those nice clamshell VHSs on my shelf.
Oh, those are worth so much now. Well, the Disney ones.
Yeah. What's that?
The Disney
the Disney ones are, but I think I might have Lion King. But none of all the rest of them. Back in the vault. I think you can watch a lot of those on Peacock now, too.
Do you know they would edit those videos? So Shivani was saying on his podcast, he used to, whenever he was with WWE, WWF, he did Coliseum home video.
Yeah,
so whenever So whenever WrestleMania ended, he was staying in that production, or I think he'd be flown out to Stanford or whatever. It's fuzzy, but they would edit it that night. Do you know what I mean? And then they were ready for it's unheard. I mean, just think about how
it still
fast.
took me 3 months and $60 to get that VHS, according to the magazine.
Yeah.
So it was a different market. That's when you got the paper, and like the RoboCop VHS was $99 because it wasn't for public sale at the time. It was like a very direct. It was a direct market at the time.
Okay.
Because before you could like go to get a bunch of VHSs at like a Walmart, or for us it was like Jamesway and Murphy's and Hills or whatever.
Jamesway.
Right? So yeah. So I don't know how regional that was. I just know we had one in our town.
I think my first VHS ever was E.T.
I don't know what my first one was, but
not bad.
But holy crap! I remember my grandma had a Betamax, and there was like a handful. Or like, you can either see these horror movies or Gremlins tonight. And I'm like, all right.
What did you watch?
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Yeah. Anyways, wow, that was a diversion.
I could have said that for you.
You know what goes, Riz? You know what goes good with sitting down and watching some Gremlins?
Pizza.
That's right. Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yins are made. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many locations here in the Pittsburgh area at this point. Go check them out. They have been supporting the show, feeding our guests here in the studio for well over a decade. Loving Rico and the guys out there, and I know it's expanded. Now they're sponsoring some other groups that we've been working with here. Our friends
cool.
Aaron Kleiber with the Stand Up Get Down show that's been happening down there in the Southside Works. So a lot of really good. It's great that we've been involved since the first location, the original, right up the tracks here in Beachview. We keep it neighborhood, and we're letting you guys know across the nation here. So, and it does travel well. We have taken the pizza up to New York and rewarmed it, and is wonderfully rewarmable pizza.
For real?
Yes,
Yum.
for real.
I'm not surprised, though.
For real,
That
Mad Mike.
pizza's really good.
Mad Mike can attest to that. So, so thank you them for supporting the show. Hey guys, it's the end of the show. And we've got to find out from everybody out there live in the chat room. Hey, hit us on the social media afterwards if you want to let us know what you learned too, or in comments on this video, or anything like that. And help even in the iTunes or Apple Podcasts, let us know in there, sure. And give us a 5 stars and everything like that, so people can find us. What did you learn from wrestling this week? Who would like to go first?
Oh, you mean us?
Anybody?
I was thinking,
Everybody in here? Everybody on the chat
I was
room?
thinking fans in the chat.
Yeah, it's
What did they
everybody, but we got to buy them time because there's a slight delay before they get
Right.
this.
There's a little bit delay.
Yes, Rizz.
You know what? Yeah, I'll say it. I learned that even in another stream, I cannot escape professional wrestling.
Okay.
So last night was my third time doing a one-shot for this Twitch streaming called Be in Denial. And we were doing something called the Honey Heist. And we play as bears disguised as humans, obviously. And we had to choose disguises, roll for disguises. And so I rolled for the following: powder blue and frilly trench coat. So a robe that's powder blue and frilly with black leather Y front underwear.
Wait, what?
Exactly. It was one of those role playing. Like we actually rolled dice for these, and it rolled on these by chance.
Wow.
And then I also rolled for a pink cowboy hat. It was just perfect for a wrestling fan like me.
Okay.
Because it was nothing but wrestling attire. So yeah, I cannot escape.
You
professional
fell
wrestling.
into a wrestler by chance.
Yes. Well, a bear dressed up as a professional wrestler.
Oh, that's even better. Now let's put
Yes.
that into the dream interpreter.
Yes, that's gonna come out weird.
Sounds like something Effie has in Chicago.
Probably.
Are you booked? Jeez. From the chat room, the Mad One learned that most WWE wrestlers are very stupid because you can just declare yourself, you declare for Money in the Bank. Why isn't the whole roster doing it? It's a good point. And also, Rob says that's a Macho Man outfit right there that you were bringing.
It is.
That is
100%.
absolutely.
Oh, my mind went elsewhere. I didn't know what to think. I'm like, that's very much who Adrian Adonis, classy Freddie Blassie.
Still very wrestling, though. Yes.
Still very wrestling.
It's still very much a wrestling costume.
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be a bet between you and Sorg where you wear that, and it's
I have a Macho
God.
Man attempted outfit from about 10 years ago. Well, that probably doesn't fit. Actually, no, I'm probably later than I was back then. So
It sounds cool though.
a lot of
Who made the gear?
colors. I think Missy made, yeah, because I think she made the pants out of a material.
Okay.
So somebody was actually just sharing about the 80s party that was for several years ago. And
Riz, who made yours?
Oh no, I wasn't dressed. It was just
it was just a role playing.
it was just a
a
role playing
role-play.
game.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Like these dice made it.
Oh, wait, is that Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes,
Oh, wow. Okay.
pretty much.
It's a game I never played.
Oh, we should have you
You should
tag into
join.
Top Rope Tabletop.
Oh my god, you guys would hate me by the end of the night.
We should do a beginner's
I'm a
night
very
on there.
friendly game player, not like my sister growing up that would like cry at Monopoly.
But can you play the character?
I just never played. I don't know. How would I play the character? I guess I just act.
Yeah, it's just acting, and then just something happens. You roll a dice to see what happened. Like that's basically it.
Okay.
And then they'll help you with the okay, roll this, this, and this. Okay, that means this. So like people are really good about helping with those. I still don't understand half of it. And
Okay.
I've played it a couple
I mean, I
times.
can do Monopoly and pretend I'm the race car and make sounds. You know, like.
Well, that's an angle. So I learned. Do you know Cruel from MLW?
Yes,
Yep.
I
Big mask
worked an
guy.
event with him. Actually, I was backstage an event with him too. That was my second promotion. I'm sorry.
So
yes.
So he was at. I got the fortune to. I got to fill in for Luke out of Texas. I Shoot Wrestling on Twitter for the Combat One promotion last Thursday in the Detroit area.
Yeah.
And I almost had a slight calamity when it came to equipment. And I did share the clip from that. Oh, that's that one there. I did share the clip. So we had our hard cam, had to move it at the last second, and then he just threw the security at the table that had our hard cam on it.
Oh my god.
So I put this tweet out, and it was this is after he put somebody through a double table right next to the camera. So I was like, listen, I'm not going to be the one to ask a guy like Cruel. By the way, I didn't see that his Twitter was Atrocity Cruel.
Atrocity Cruel,
to
yeah.
not throw a security card at the table with the video equipment. But he was having a bad night, but it was a little scary. And he retweeted this. Let me see if I can pull that up here.
How did I miss this?
He quote tweeted this and just said, hard cam. So, yeah, Cruel.
At least he knows where Hardcam is.
He knows where hard cam is, and so does that poor security guard, who I think also commented on Facebook on that video clip, by the way.
Oh, he's alive. Okay.
Yeah, he is alive. He is alive. He's like, yes, I made bad choices that night.
Yeah, I forgot about this. I got to work an event in Huntsville, Alabama in last June. And it was like Eric Bischoff was booking, Jeff Jarrett, Ricky Morton, Kevin Sullivan, and everything. And I got to be the ring announcer and the interviewer for it. And that's when I first met Cruel. And ironically, tonight I was just talking to Pretty Boy Smooth, and I'm like, man, I'd love to see you and Cruel wrestle each other. So we're gonna manifest it. We're gonna have to say Cruel one more time, and he's gonna crush your hard cam and.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going
Russell
back to
PBC.
combat, but we're gonna be posting some security
That
up
is
there.
so
or
funny you
whatever.
mentioned him.
Yep. That's actually the second time. Cause he was at the New Fear City show. I went to the kickoff show that they did Mania Week.
Yeah.
Not the one in the skate park. The one that was at the bar concert venue. So that was the first time seeing Cruel in person, very close in the crowd there because there was no space in there. So, but yeah. So he's a very nice monster.
I mean, he's taller than Gannon.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Ever noticed all the tall, like
Maybe those
big
two.
wrestlers are very nice? Some of them.
Mostly.
He scared me.
Yeah, he's intimidating. And then of course he was up on the stands when there was a conversation about this. So I can't gauge how much taller he was bigger than me at this point, but he's definitely up there.
Atrocity.
So Atrocity Cruel.
Atrocity Cruel.
Yes, your new best friend on Twitter. Megan, what did you learn from wrestling? Let's say recently.
I don't know. I did learn. No, I already said that earlier. Ryse has an announcement. Just go to our social media. They'll announce it soon. But it's something I just learned. I was shocked.
What have you learned from your last couple of years in pro wrestling?
I learned a lot about. Actually, this is like kind of like a really. I don't know. Just so many different things. I got to meet so many cool people. Got to hear stories. Got to learn about etiquette. That was important. You know, you never you see behind the curtain. Got to meet some amazing people. What did I learn? I don't know. I felt like got to learn a new skill set I never thought in a million years I'd get to do or be a part of or I don't know. I've always have a great time like working WrestleCon or working any of these things. And how crazy was it at WrestleCon, by the way? Like in one line, it's like Joe Dombrowski, and you helped out Joe Dombrowski.
Yeah, I filled in for a couple hours.
And then it's me, and it's like Fonzie is right across me the whole time, and Sonny Ono. I'm like, man, this is gonna be one crazy shit show all weekend, and it kind of was. It was so much fun. But I don't know. I feel like what I've learned from wrestling the past few years is I've met some amazing people, met some of my closest friends, and I'm so fortunate and blessed for that. And again, I got to learn a little bit more about myself. And I know a lot of people say, you know, wrestling saved them and it brought this into their life, and there really is an impact it makes. And just I don't know, just new skills and everything. I'm very fortunate and blessed for my friendships in wrestling, for being a wrestling fan, and just getting to work in it.
Absolutely. And of course, you will be there for Ryse Wrestling is this Saturday down there in Uniontown, RyseWrestling.com with a Y.
Yeah, RYSE, Ryse Wrestling, Uniontown. We do have a few seats still available. I don't know. I don't think the first 3 rows are even available still. I mean, this is against EC3.
Yeah.
For NWA. So
they've been doing crazy numbers down there, even shows without an EC3.
We
on
are
it,
so fortunate, and a big thing on Saturday for me is I'm going to be recording in the back the whole time. Like all the talent is going to be picking their numbers for the Ryse Rumble in July. So that's a big thing. And Chris LaRusso, matchmaker Chris LaRusso, said, you know what, we have a few confidential envelopes I want you to put off to the side that we're going to put numbers in. So I don't know what surprise guests are going to be showing up at Ryse in July. So you have to find out. But those confidential envelopes, I don't know who we're giving them to, but it's pretty good names.
I've been a fan of Ryse going back to sometime within their, I think their first or second year.
Thank you.
And it got involved with them for a good period there.
Yes.
So a lot of those shows, if you want to check out Ryse, like I know we have a lot of our catalog over on the YouTube. You can check out for free, so you can kind of check out how they got here and check out even just the rise of guys like Pretty Boy Smooth in that promotion.
Yeah.
Even some guy named Lee Moriarty did a couple cool things there too.
Yeah,
that you can check out too.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about that Lee Moriarty fella.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to say too about Ryse is every Thursday, guys, at 7 o'clock is our Thursday Throwdown over on YouTube, Ryse Wrestling on YouTube. So be sure to check out some matches you might have missed last month on our YouTube channel.
There you go. And of course, Rizz. Where are you online that people can check you up?
Rizz with no Y.
No, Rizz. No, new Meighan. Before I get to Rizz. Other than Ryse, where are you online?
Oh, me online?
Yes,
oh gosh,
yes.
I'm boring. I have Meighan Nelson at Facebook, MEIGHAN Nelson, and Meg Nelson on Instagram. So it's MEIGNELSON. I am not on Twitter. I was on Twitter in like 2006, and I got rid of it like 3 years ago. I don't know why.
There's a lot of good reasons these days.
Okay. I don't know. I just I'm not keeping up with this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's where most of the wrestling converses. So that's why I'm sticking around. It's kind of the place to be. This is the best thing to me is coming home from whatever show I've been working at on a Saturday night and seeing what everybody else did. You know, catching up on the gifts and the responses and the reactions, and like that is the coolest thing. Like always on a Friday and Saturday, especially a Saturday night, just be like have that like. What is the temperature of the wrestling world tonight? Whether there was a pay-per-view, whether it was like this indie show, this indie show, this indie show, you know, where have our friends gone tonight to work, you know, that we all know from the Pittsburgh area and beyond. You know, I think it's really cool to see that. And there's the interactions.
What was the after party like?
And where was the after party? That usually doesn't make Twitter, typically. No. That's usually in the DMs. Actually, yeah, that too. I guess so.
If it does, they didn't know wrestling etiquette.
There you go. There you go. Some people. You know, so, who's in the doghouse this week? Anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Meighan. Rizz plays games on all the social medias.
Rizz, woohoo.
Oh, you're muted. Or something.
I do that a lot. It's
Yes.
my fault.
That's right.
Rizz with no Y.
There you go.
We'll see you again, Rizz.
I updated my I updated Twitter.
There you go. Excellent. And if you're with us with video, I haven't found the outro to the show. we had a catastrophic failure of the podcast computer a couple weeks ago, so I had to build it from scratch and build all the projects from scratch today, and we haven't found the outro. So everybody sing along for me, and we're gonna at least have this go out for you guys. So guys, thank you so much. Audio, you're not gonna. Yeah, we'll sing the song in the outro, but we'll see you guys next time. Mayhem out.
Just wait for the perfect